That is a tough one right out of the gates. Gosh, it must have been one of our headliner entertainment nights. Probably Stevie Wonder, to see Main Street filled with 5,000 people and on a beautiful, September 1st Labor Day. So I think some of the big events we've put on downtown, especially because we've brought people into the market that have never been here or haven't been here in quite some time. So usually around entertainment. We've talked about it for a long time, the 3-year ramp up. In retrospect, we could have probably done a better job talking about within those 3 years. The first year can be the most difficult because you're really trying to figure out not only how is the market going to respond to the product, to your promotions, but what is the competition going to do to hold on to those customers. And this market has some really strong competitors that have been in the market for 20 plus years. So I think we may have underestimated that level of loyalty and what it would take for those customers to give us a shot. I think generally we feel like once we get customers to come check out Springfield and come check out MGM Springfield, we've been really successful getting return trips. And we continue to work on branding not only the property but the city. And it's taken some time and we're getting momentum there. So we're a little bit behind, say, our first year projections, but I feel good about the trajectory of it. And we get thousands of new customers every week that are trying out the property, entering our database. And you're going to start seeing the benefit of that as we're able to start market to those folks. Like any projection or target, you have to remember how long this process took. We were here in 2012 trying to figure out what the market would look like in, say, 2016, not knowing that another referendum would come, not knowing some of the other sort of delays that were inherent in the process. That's not an excuse, it's an explanation. I think there's a little bit of, you got to give a little bit of tolerance to how long the process is and how early we were trying to figure out what the market would do. I think the other piece of it is there are many facets of the operation. Total gaming revenue and tax revenue are an important part of it, but it's not the only part. We talked about our commitment to Springfield and Springfield residents and employee hires. We set an aggressive target of 35%, and we're hovering around 40%. And I'm as proud of that, and I think that's as important a stat as the gaming revenue number. We're hovering around 40% of our employees are Springfield residents. Okay, we've put incredible group of people into the hospitality industry, and we're growing them, and we're promoting them. People have bought their first homes as MGM Springfield employees. They've funded college educations, bought their first cars. So I'm excited about what we're doing on the people side of it. I think the business side will grow. Brought great entertainment down here. Shows that wouldn't come if it weren't for the power of MGM, to be candid. So, and we're competing with some really aggressive entertainment venues and competitors. So I think you've got to put it all in the mix. Gaming revenues, we've missed a bit, but we're exceeding it across the board on a lot of other fronts. Hotel revenues, we got one of the most successful hotels in the region. Our restaurants are some of the most successful, profitable restaurants in the region. So I think if you look at it as a whole, we're pretty proud of where we're at. We can be held accountable every day throughout the year. We talk about a 3-year ramp up. We now have the latest competitor in the market. Our July was stronger month over month than June. So all of the concerns about oversaturation and what this market can support, I think we've proven that MGM can grow the market, Encore can grow the market, and that we can do unique things in our respective fields. So give us the 3-year ramp up, and throughout that period, we're going to have wins, we're going to have some setbacks. We're on the verge of having brought 6 million people to this downtown since we've opened. I mean, that's an incredible feat for a city, like I said, that really needs a little bit more attention and needs customers to give it another shot. Yeah, so I've got to be a little careful because we do public release of numbers with the Gaming Commission. So I'll just rely on our last public report, which is generally a quarter behind. I think we're about 2,200 direct employees, somewhere in that vicinity. You add another 300, maybe 400, based on sort of the campus, because we view it as a full campus employment number. So say we're at, we're anywhere between 2,500 and the original 3,000, looking at it as a campus. We're bringing Wahlburgers on in the next year. That's going to add new employees. We do a lot of outdoor entertainment with riggers and some of that temporary employee count labor. So it can be a little bit of an elusive number, but I think we're hovering right around the number that we hoped we were, a little bit lower. And some of that's volume driven. I would say campus-wide, we're at 2,500 or so. I'm including tenants, for example. Like if we chose to operate those venues, they'd be our employees. The fact that we lease them out, a job's a job. So
that's like the movie thing.
Yeah, Regal's a great example. Kringle Candle, Hanoush Jewelry, right? I'm giving you a campus number, so I think right around 2,500 for the campus. Yeah, we didn't have a layoff in my mind. We right-sized the business throughout the opening period. Employees go, employees come. So I don't think we had a single event. It's just what's normal for a large operation. You'll see that with other competitors. I don't know any other business that ramps up for a big opening the way we do and then doesn't see a little bit of drop off. So yeah, I mean, no specific strategy. In general, I think our view of the market is that we can all coexist. When we've got a big entertainment event downtown, I know their numbers must be off. When they've got a big entertainer, I know our numbers can be a little bit off. So I think what you try to gain is more loyalty from more people. I don't think any customer is exclusive to us. They do compelling things there. We do compelling things here. So I think the folks that gave us a try, we did some things like tier matching, which is to make sure that the customer knows you've got 20 years of loyalty at a place. We want to make sure you feel like you step into our resort feeling like a VIP or that you're at that level of play. So we've done proactive things to make sure that we're apples to apples comparison. And yeah, thanks, Severio. So throughout our development. We're new in this jurisdiction, so the great example is we've got a couple of table games that we don't provide in our other markets. We came to this market, and right out of the gate, we heard a clamoring for them. Let It Ride is an example of a game that we heard a lot of customers ask for. They wanted more video poker, which isn't as popular in our other markets. So early on, I think we're on our third version of the campaign, but we did something called You Said It, We Did It, which is to take feedback from our customers and really make the product better. And I'm really proud of our team for how proactive we were, because it can take a while to react to what you're hearing from the customers, but we were really sort of nimble that way. So no specific category. We just want to earn. We want to earn that business each day with customer service, which you really can't replicate with a new building or a new construction. And we're getting better every day, and I see it all the time. I see more faces that are familiar to me, and that's how you gain the loyalty. We know that when we provide a really compelling program on the property, our numbers go up. And when we provide good customer service, our numbers go up. So I feel like we can control our own fate. Certainly there's macro, global sort of implications to the business, and you're going to feel those. But in a regional market, we're largely a day trip market, and for me, it's important to provide value to the customer. You got a customer that's coming here in some of our markets, 80 times a year. In some of our successful markets, we're starting to get that type of loyalty, and you do that by providing day-to-day value. We've got restaurants and gaming products that are something that we feel like you can make part of your lifestyle. So I always try to make sure we provide value, and if you're providing value, you're going to survive some of these tougher economic times. I think in the long term, the design we created here, I think, is going to be a legacy for the industry. It's something that people are going to emulate because it really fits into the downtown. We've had visitors come from outside of this jurisdiction and really praise us for what we've done here. So I think it's the new model. In the short time, would you like something that's more neon, something that catches your eye? Sure. I think that's something that we tinker with all the time. Is how do you get that person on the highway or on the streets to make the decision to turn off. And we've increased our signage on the highway. That took a while to get done, longer than it should have. We increased our signage downtown along the streets. We've got a really interesting, complex, porous site, and it's not just a single portal, single doorway. So I think I underestimated, just how important it was just to point people to the front door. And we've done that over time. But in the long term, I wouldn't change. I don't think anybody in our team would change the way we design this place, because the customers are going to learn how to get to us over time. And when they do, they're going to, it's going to be less important that you had a big flashing neon sign to point them there. They're going to appreciate the fact that they're coming downtown and really enjoying something that's pretty special. Yeah, what John's referencing is dynamic video. We've got a huge screen on the side of our garage, and I think there was a concern by the Gaming Commission that it might be a distraction to drivers. So we were respectful of that and said we'd open without it. And you're right, they offered to let us revisit after 90 days. We haven't gone back to them. I think we need to. I think there's been a year of data to show that there hasn't been any. We've got a big flashing MGM Springfield sign with oscillating lights. And there's a bunch of content on it. It just slides over versus in motion. So it's on the side of our garage. It's our big marquee screen, and it's got still images versus dynamic video. So to make that video dynamic. So I think it's something worth revisiting. I think we wanted to have a year of data just to be able to go in and feel like we can show that it hasn't been an issue and that we can test to make sure it's not. So we're a little bit unlucky with hold. Reflected in the July numbers. So that's a little bit of the story there. But generally, we're pretty happy with our table games. It's going in the right direction. We're growing it. We're seeing we're seeing a good chunk of our Boston customers come back to us. So I think it proves to us that we can share that market with Encore, just as we can share a lot of our customers with our competitors. So. What I'm really pleased with is our slot revenue is starting to stabilize and grow, and that's really an important aspect of the business. The table games is going to be a little bit more volatile. You really want to grow that steady slot business, and that's something our team's really focused on. So we're pretty excited about where we're at. Yeah, I think too short a period to really to give any kind of estimate as to impact. For us, it's a matter of making sure that our loyal customers, and they were candid with us, convenience is obviously a huge part of the experience. So they were going to give Encore a try, and they've come back to us. We're going to share trips with a lot of those folks, and that's fine. It's partly anecdotal and it's partly data driven. Again, I'm not prepared to give the stats on it right now. But as you can see, our July numbers were stronger than our June numbers, and that's a first full month of having a really strong competitor in the market. So I think that speaks for itself. Yeah, I don't think there's been any damage at all, short term or long term. We've talked to our local stakeholders, the mayor, different legislative representatives. We've talked to our employees, and they recognize we're a Fortune 500 company. So we have an obligation to look at any opportunity, and that's what we did, and we passed on it. We're as dedicated to Springfield as we ever were. And it's a special project to us, and it provides a huge opportunity for the company to grow in other markets. So looking at a competing facility should never be viewed as a lack of commitment to this one. And in fact, I think there's a great opportunity as we expand to be able to grow our database. So adding another facility doesn't mean that Springfield somehow weakened. If anything, is strengthened, because we grow our database, we expose new customers in other jurisdictions. Good example of that is we've got a facility in Yonkers, New York, that we acquired, and we're seeing a lot of those customers come up and give us a try. So that's the strength of an MGM, is a huge portfolio of ours allows for cross-marketing, and if we grow the portfolio, we potentially grow the market to the benefit of all of our properties, including Springfield. We've had the ability to have conversations in the past. As all of you may know, we got the law changed on Corey, which is the ability to have employees with certain criminal background checks have a second chance at rehabilitation, and we drove that change, is to change the law, and because of that, we gave a lot of people a second chance that normally wouldn't have. So we never feel like we're restricted by what is the existing law from having a conversation. If it's the right public policy, we can make a compelling case. That's something that we could definitely talk to the legislature about. You're exactly right. It comes with a lot of benefits, but it comes with a lot of challenges. So yeah, the porous design of our resort is something really special to us. Especially when the weather's as good as it is now, and you see people that are in the plaza going to entertainment venues. They're coming in and out of our doors. No one feels like they're getting corralled past the slot machines, past any element of the resort. So you see people enjoying, the Patriots preseason out on our plaza, the Red Sox, all the big events on our plaza, and they come in the movie theater, they come in and enjoy the tap patio. So really excited about how it's turned out. In terms of the logistics, it's been a challenge to the team. We've had issues, as some may know, around minor access. Especially when we do family programming. And I want to thank the Commonwealth, I want to thank the mayor, our community stakeholders, because they think that trade-off's worth it, which is to have a great design that's family friendly. And once in a while, underage folks are going to sneak onto the floor, sometimes inadvertently, sometimes intentionally. And our staff's been trained to really intercept them and get them off the floor and teach it as a coaching moment, not just for the kids, but for the parents. So. But overall, been really excited happy about the design. I think we wouldn't change that for the world, especially as Main Street starts to build back up, and you can see that activity. Wahlburgers is coming. There's a CVS flagship coming across the street. So as Main Street becomes more activated, you're going to see a lot of those people bouncing back and forth in between our restaurants and between the local stores. Well, no one's raised that concern with me, so I think it's more of an academic question. The people that I've spoken to and our team's spoken to are thankful for the 2,300. These are 2,300 great jobs, well-paying with benefits, and we're launching careers. Sure, we'd love the number to be higher because it would be a reflection that the business is higher, and that will come with time. But we're excited about. We're excited about the quality of the jobs, and we're about to celebrate our 1-year anniversary, and we've got a great group of founding employees that were here a year ago that we're going to go celebrate, and we continue to grow those employees all the time. I just was at a new hire orientation in front of 40 new employees, and I do that every week. So there's a little bit of a revolving door there. When people move on because we got them their first job, they're now able to move on and get other opportunities, but there's a whole new class of new employees that we're welcoming. So I look to focus on the 2,300 jobs or so that we are providing, not the 3,000 that that may have fallen off since our opening. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. So I was, and I think the company was misquoted about there being an issue with high rollers. We don't have any issue with high rollers. In fact, they're a big part of our business, and we attract them all the time. And some of the success we've seen in July is a lot of those VIP top-tier customers coming back to us because they appreciate the experience. They appreciate the MGM brand and what it delivers in terms of entertainment and the ability to go spend their loyalty at Bellagio, MGM Grand, MGM National Harbor down in DC. So many things that our competitors can't do, which is to give them access to other amenities. So we don't have a problem attracting high rollers or VIP customers, and we haven't had one. And in fact, that's a growing part of our business. As those customers, and we learn those customers and the things that they appreciate, and the high quality of our amenities, and excited about that piece of the business, and we're growing it, and we're building more amenities to support that customer, like the VIP lounge, as well as some other things around property that you're going to hear about in the coming months. So economic development and that that rising tide lifts all boats strategy that we implemented, I think is paying off, and we're really proud of it. I talked about the CVS that's going up across the street, and a lot of in Boston that would not be a newsmaker, but for those of you that live in Springfield, that's a huge accomplishment. Having a national company like that invest in Main Street Springfield and what that does in terms of providing amenities to new residents that will then justify new market rate housing. That's the cycle that we need to get started and that we've helped to kickstart. Wahlburgers coming downtown is huge. The work we're doing on 31 Elm, which I know many of us have said is close for months, but it really is close in our mind. And if you think about a mega project like that on Court Square and then what that will do to the remainder of downtown, Paramount Theater just announced a major development. So, we're proud of the economic boom that the city's undergoing. I think the mayor has talked about $4 billion of economic development since the tornado. We're $1 billion of that, but we're only a quarter of it. So just take a step back and think about what that means for this community. And we're seeing more and more of it. We track economic data all the time. We look at hotel occupancy rates and tax collection, look at meals tax, and the city is better off since we've opened than the year before. And that's because we bring thousands more people than we can feed every day, and thousands more people than we can lodge every day. And where's that business going to? It's going up and down the street to Nadim's, it's going to Red Rose. Red Rose is expanding their business. For a long time, the only thing I heard about is you better not put Red Rose out of business. And not only have we not done that, they're growing. The Sheraton is higher occupancy, higher average daily rate. New hotels are being announced all the time. So I think everybody in this room knows that we've been a lift to the local business community and not a drain. And that's something we predicted would happen, and we're proud of it, and we're going to continue that. We believe it's a huge priority. The governor has said that repeatedly, and we appreciate the Baker administration for the support they've given us here in Springfield. The legislators also believe it's a priority. It's a bit of a race with some of the surrounding jurisdictions. So I know it's something they care about. They want to get done in the fall. You won't be surprised. We ask about it daily. It's something that is important to our business. In our other markets, we've seen as much as a 10% increase to the rest of the business because people stay here longer, they go to restaurants, and they support the facility above and beyond the sports betting business. So I know they're getting through a difficult budget, so we've been respectful that this is a big priority, but they wanted to get some things done. Now that I think the budget's close to done, if not done, we've kick-started those conversations again. So we've got a plan to turn on a sportsbook very quickly once they give us the green light, and they've held hearings about it. So it's something we're going to continue to push for. I don't want to take the pressure off because it is important, but it's something that I know is important to them as well. Yeah, it's something obviously we monitor as we do with any competition. I think you're starting to hear in the Connecticut sort of circles that the focus is less on this East Windsor North location. It's more about the Bridgeport South opportunity. We, for a long time, have believed as a potential bidder applicant that the South is where Connecticut would be best served because most of their business is getting lost to the New York facilities. So I think that's an improvement for Connecticut. It's certainly an improvement for Springfield to get some of that competition out of our back door. But if it came, we'd be ready for it. I think we've proven that we can compete, whether it's Encore or the Tribes. We've grown the market, and what we provide here in Springfield is really unique. So would I like to see the competitor farther away? Of course we would, but it's not something that we're obsessed over. We're growing our database, and for us it's important to focus on Springfield. I think so. I think first to market is really important. Just as the Mohegan Sun and Foxwoods have a really deep and loyal set of customers, and we're building the same in Springfield. So from what I know about that facility, it's not going to be the compelling destination that we are. It'll be smaller. It won't be as dynamic. Would it grab some customers? It would. But we feel like we've got a really compelling destination here, and in some ways, as close as it is, I think a little bit of the opportunity is, is a customer going to really save themselves 10 minutes to stop going to something that provides as many different experiences as we do. We think we've got a really compelling destination regardless of what the competition is. No, it hasn't. It's an important market. We're right on the state line. So, as we launch any new campaign, we're going to launch it in all of our big markets. Certainly Connecticut's one of them, but we're in upstate New York, we're in central Mass. We've done really well in Vermont and New Hampshire. So we've been really pleased with how diverse our customer base is. And I think that's, again, what makes us a really strong and healthy operation is how diverse our customer base is. Yeah, that's different than the number that we track, I'll just tell you that. But I'm not going to say that. Nice try. But we do really, our two big markets are certainly Springfield and then that Connecticut, Central Mass, Eastern Mass market. We do well in upstate New York. We do well to the north of us as well. And we're starting to do better in New York, particularly north-south, because of that presence in Yonkers and having hundreds of thousands of new customers join the MGM M Life database. one of my observations, and our team has said the same thing, is how many people are tied to Springfield, even those that have moved away. And I think it's a source of pride to come back and show off the place. So the number of folks that are from Springfield that have Springfield connections has been a pleasant surprise. And I think the kind of pride that they have in the facility and starting to show off the town is also been great. The other pleasant surprise is the non-smoking piece. I think the number of people that, and it's not even just people that are non-smokers. Smokers like the non-smoking because they can go outside and smoke and then come back and into this clean, smoke-free environment. And, the comments I hear is like, I don't feel like I've got to go, dry clean my clothes the next day, or I go home smelling like an ashtray. So that's something that we're capitalizing on and making sure people are aware that this is a smoke-free environment. Sure, you're going to lose some of the, really sort of hardcore smokers that want it, but for the most part, I think it's been more positive than a negative. And then, really the power of entertainment. People will come downtown for outdoor bands, for great entertainment. We've ratcheted up our entertainment calendar. We're going to do more of it. Now that we're managing Symphony Hall, it's a whole nother venue with a sort of a sweet spot of 2,500 seats that we're able to really program. And if you think about the competition, they all have great venues, but they don't have a 5,500 seater, a 2,500 seater, an outdoor 1,600 seater, a ballroom at 1,000 seats. Like, this is a pretty special opportunity, and we're starting to realize the power of it and leverage it more and more. Yeah, one of the things I think we've observed at MGM Resorts is our regional properties are able to weather those a little bit more than some other jurisdictions. And I think it goes back to what I talked about, which is providing value. People still need to eat. Our Tap Sports Bar is as competitive a restaurant as any other fast food restaurant. Providing a great hotel room, providing a great casino experience. So I think our diversity of offerings and our customer base, which is both VIP as well as day-to-day folks that come here once or twice a week and they budget to it and they make it part of their lifestyle, I think we're really well positioned because of that to weather an economic downturn. And but it's something that every facility has to get ready for it because of some of the slow ramp up. We run leaner than maybe some of our other competitors do, and that's something that puts us in a good position if business volumes aren't quite there. We've got cross marketing relationships with Six Flags, the Springfield museums. We're working with the city on activating Union Station with the Loop. So, there's all kinds of different strategies. Obviously, we are the exclusive casino for the Boston Red Sox. That really prominent branding on the Green Monster and everything that brings with it, including one of the really exciting upcoming events is Winter Weekend, their Fan Fest. We're bringing that third week of January. And you're talking about 6,000 to 8,000 rabid Red Sox customers that are going to be descending on Springfield. So really exciting opportunities. We're within our first year, so there's a lot of different dynamics going on. We're trying to figure out what are our traffic patterns, our visitor volumes, what are those of our marketing partners, and what are we seeing? So we've been through a Big E. We saw a lot of customers come from Big E last September, but I think we could see more of them. So one of the things that we've done is we're sponsoring a concert at the Big E. We're activating an outdoor area there to make sure that we do some intercepts. And the Big E's are partners there. They want to make sure that this is a compelling sort of 3 weeks, not just for their customers, but really for the city. And I think us as an amenity is something that the Big E is starting to leverage, Eastern State Expo, to help their other events throughout the year. So we're doing more of it, and we're continuing to do more of it. It just takes time. You got to see sort of the patterns and figure out when people are coming and why they're coming. Generally, we run about 80-20. Full-time, part-time. So I think that's consistent with whatever the demographic is. So that's probably as close a number as I could hazard sitting up here. But we're seeing people go from part-time to full-time, and then from full-time really growing supervisor manager. We've had over 100 promotions since we've opened, and a lot of them are Springfield residents. So really exciting to see people grow in the business. So I want to give credit to NPR. We have a bunch of amazing stats, but for some reason you love focusing on the 5% miss we have on women. I'd like to get to 50, which is our target. We hover right around 45%. It's been a tough one to crack, despite a lot of effort on it. So obviously, with security and facilities, that's been my standard answer, which is a little bit of a more of a male-dominated department. Those tend to be dragging down our numbers a little bit, but know that I strive. I want to meet all of our targets, and right now we're just shy on the female 50% target. It's something that we've planned for quite some time. I think what you do is you open up the casino floor, and then the customer tells you how well you did. And there is a demand for what's called stadium gaming, electronic table games. A couple of factors. One is it's a little less intimidating. If you don't know how to make a bet on craps and you don't want to hold up the game, you go up to one of these machines and they'll make the bets. They'll tell you the odds for you. It also allows us to do lower table limits because it's electronic and doesn't have as much labor associated with it. So there's a big group of customers that aren't comfortable with a $10, $20, $25 limit. They're looking for $5, for example. So electronic table games allows us to do that. But it's a really fun, exciting new technology, and we're always looking to implement whatever's new in the market. So you're going to see that come up in the next week or two. We're trying to get it open for Aerosmith, but we're pretty close. But it's an exciting new product that brings in a different customer, and that's part of the "you said it, we did it." Is just listening to the customer and trying to modify the property accordingly. Yeah, it's a huge accomplishment. I think there were a lot of naysayers that first said we would never build this. Then they said people wouldn't come because of Springfield, and a year later, 6 million visitors later. We're knocking the cover off the ball on many facets of it. We brought world-class entertainment to downtown, sold out entertainment, and a lot of the fears that people had about what this would do, it would congest the downtown, whatever the issues were around the perception of crime, they just haven't come to fruition. And I hear naysayers come to me all the time and said, I didn't believe in you guys, I didn't believe it would work, and I'm here all the time, I bring my family here, I'm not a gambler, but I'm at the steakhouse, I'm at Calamari, I love the Regal movie theater, and that's what I love to hear is, people giving us a chance and allowing us to prove them wrong. I think they were realistic in the first place. It was quite some time ago. And if you watch what the market did over the years that we were building, the market started to constrict. So there's new competition coming all the time, some of which we didn't anticipate. But I think they are realistic. It's just a matter of when we're going to be able to get there. And that is going to take some time. So if you look at any other facilities in the market, there's always a ramp up. I think the Encore folks are talking about a ramp up as well. As strong as their numbers are, I'm sure it's disappointing on some aspects as well. So on the slot side, we almost did as much slot business our first full month as Encore did their first full month. And that's a facility that's in a big metropolitan market that spent 2.5 to 3 times as much as we did. So they got a fantastic table game business, and I think they're going to continue to do well. But I think what they're learning, what we're learning is ramping up the slot business is tricky, and it's going to take some time in a market like this. So we think we'll get there. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take. We're changing up the physical product, adding different bars, adding new amenities, adding the VIP lounge to help with our VIP customers, and we'll continue to get smarter about it and chip away at getting to that number. I think we're going to hit our 50% female employee number. Paul, I look forward to not having to answer that question again. No, but in all seriousness, I think more of the same. We're doing so many things really well. I think the trick is always keep doing what you're doing well and then improve in the areas where you may be falling short. So I think we're going to grow our customer database, our MLife database. We're going to see a lot more cross-marketing with the Borgata in New Jersey. And that means sending customers that way as well as getting customers here, as well as Yonkers. And sports betting is a game changer for us. We look forward to getting that on hopefully this fall. And like I said, that can be as much as a 10% lift to the business. And it's not just the numbers, but it's seeing new customers that wouldn't normally come to the property. So I'm excited about being here a year from now and talking about us being closer to our projections of not exceeding them, and really more of the same in terms of entertainment and bringing new people downtown. I think it's always difficult. Each market's different and performs differently. I can't speak to the upstate New York numbers. Like I said, I know that's an important customer demographic for us, so we continue to try to grow that business. We're only going to do better in New York as we get a little bit more branding awareness through our Yonkers relationship. I hope all the markets grow. I think there's an opportunity to bring new people to these facilities, especially because we're not just a gaming facility. We're a mixed use. So we're bringing Regal moviegoers. We're bringing pop band followers. Hanson was a runaway success. I know we got a lot of customers that weekend that normally wouldn't come to a casino resort. So I wish them all the best. We're not looking to hurt our competition. We're hoping we can all grow the business.